I just beat the God of War Ragnarok Valhalla DLC on the hardest difficulty with a pretty great score, which the amount of fleeting echoes that you earned during your run. So I want to share many pro tips on how I did this in this video. With the 4 rest stones you can get, totally helping with that. Of course, a like on the video would be awesome. Subscribe for more God of War Ragnarok content, and let's go. You maybe already have the 2 starting resurrection stones from the Tablet of Reflection at the shore, so totally get those if you haven't already. And then in Greece, you can also buy a more powerful resurrection stone that gives you more health when you get back on your feet. So really great against Tyr. Only to get this at the Tablet of Endeavor you need to have crests, and there are 3 types of crest and they are based on the weapons. At the start of a run you of course choose your main weapon, and this will determine the upgrades you get after that. Well, if you then find a question mark door in a sanctuary and enter it, you will go to a more sizable area where you find a Nornir chest. Complete that Nornir chest with the solutions, usually like being very close to the chest, and then you will get 3 crests based on the weapon path you selected at the start. So if you are running low on these crests, then you now know how to get them and can then exchange them for the more powerful rest stone at the Tablet of Endeavor in Greece. The 4th and final rest stone can actually be bought in the lower realm, but only after upgrading the lower realm tablets offering at the Tablet of Influence on the shore. Like, getting both upgrades means that you can get a rest stone in the lower realm for 300 fleeting echoes, which is really nice. Like, I first did not bother with both the lower and upper realm tablet offerings, but they're both amazing. So the lower one gives you that rest stone, but both add glyphs to the inventory of a Tablet of Endeavor. So if you are looking for something specific but did not get lucky with the chest, then you can still try and see if the Tablet of Endeavor sells them, and they can still get the glyphs with the nice perks that you want. So again, don't sleep on the lower and upper realm tablets offering. But the runic attacks are of course also super important, and did you know that you can skip the cooldown? So one big difference versus the regular game is that cooldown on runic attacks only regenerate during combat, so not when just walking around. Pro tip, by the way, is to use the random enemies that will spawn in the realm that you go to before going to Greece to get your runic attacks back from cooldown. Like, these are just really small encounters, you can just ignore them, but you can also hold your shield up and then wait for your runic attacks to come back, so then you can immediately use them when you have your first encounter in Greece, which of course is quite challenging. But you can also completely skip the cooldown by spending fleeting echoes to upgrade a runic attack. So then you can instantly use it, so it's actually smart to upgrade a runic attack before going to a hard encounter, because then you can immediately use it at the start of the fight and maybe even use it a second time during the encounter as well. So also upgrading a runic attack 2 times after each other, even though you have the fleeting echoes, it's not smart. Instead, time your upgrades right. And I overall think that upgrading runic attacks should be one of your priorities. Just make sure that you at least got the fleeting echoes for that rest stone in the lower realm for, again, 300 fleeting echoes. And you also need to have the 220 fleeting echoes after defeating that first boss, because then entering the new realm will be the only time you can buy a damage upgrade for your main weapon. It's not available later on in the Greece area. So don't skip it, it's very crucial, but apart from those 2, focusing on the runic attacks and playing around with that instant cooldown is smart. And there are also smart ways to stay alive. The key here is the health looter from the Tablet of Reflection on the shore. Like, upgrading it gives you 10% health back for every legendary chest that you open, and this really adds up over the course of your run. But the pro tip here is to always loot these legendary chests, even though the content inside might not be of value. Like, after that first big boss, you always get a relic chest, but because I already like the relic I use from the start, I won't need to switch to another relic. But then I just forfeit the rewards and still get the resources and health back. And this also applies to the legendary chest in the starting area of Greece. Again, I don't need the relic chest, but I still open it if I have the leftover fleeting echoes to get health back. Same for the chest with the divine triumphs. I already have all the upgrades unlocked, but I still open these chests to get health back. And while you might want to quickly go to the Greece part of Valhalla, it is actually smart to stick around the lower realm maybe a bit longer than you usually do, because you at least want to make sure that you have both a light and heavy runic attack for your main weapon, but also use the lower realm to get some other upgrades before going to Greece and to already get rid of some burdens that requires you to complete a set amount of encounters. Like, the rewards from these burdens are great, but it's of course far from ideal to have the handicaps from the burden when racing against the clock in Greece. Just make sure that when you stay a bit longer in the lower realm that you keep your health up and don't waste a lot of your rage or relic charges here. Save those for the harder boss fights or the red realm tears. Like the first Valhalla's Chosen in the circular arena. So I think it's kinda handy to know a run through Valhalla that will easily get you the 6 targets that are needed to go to tier. If you're of course earlier into the story of the DLC, then you need less Valhalla's Chosen enemies before going to tier. So from that first encounter that you have to do in the circular arena, I start my run by going to the right and then up here. Here you namely find another Valhalla's Chosen, a Bloom Realm Tear, which means it's pretty easy, and then after defeating that, go down, and then to your right you will find another Blue Realm Tear. Now after clearing that, continue, and then on your left hand side you find a Red Realm Tear, so a more challenging one. It's smart to have your runic attacks ready for that one, your relic, and some rage. After completing this one, head outside towards the chest, get the chest, and then on your left you will find a Yellow Realm Tear, and also here, nice to have some powerful abilities ready to be used. Then when successful, we want to head this way, so to the other side from where you came from, and now you're back at the starting area. Now it's time to buy some upgrades. We'll share some tips on that in a moment, but first, real quick, let's finish this run. So from the Tablet of Endeavor here, just go right, go up like this, and there we'll find a Blue Realm Tear to give you the final target that is needed before going to tier. So you can go to tier immediately, but if you're feeling good and keep your health and rage up while clearing the Realm Tears, then it's totally smart to stick around in Greece a bit longer. The difficulty timer namely does not affect tier. For me, he was always a purple health bar, even though I got the skill level in Greece. I did see some other people get the skill level tier, but I'm not sure how you get that. Either way, if you can manage, then it's smart to get more powerful glyphs and other upgrades from the Realm Tears in Greece. Do these special encounters by entering the doors with the skill, as the rewards for those are pretty great too. There are also these chests in Greece that are protected by a small group of enemies. I recommend that you go after them, but first focus on clearing the Realm Tears and doing the doors with the skill. Killing the enemies protecting the chest will namely take some time, and opening a chest won't increase the timer, so things will get difficult way quicker than when fighting the enemies in the Realm Tear. So stick around a bit longer in Greece before going to tier if you think you can handle yourself, and then you will become even more powerful before the final fight. It helped me to make my relic focused build even better, so when you have 5 targets and go to that starting area with the run I just told you about, then we want to open some chests, and the most crucial one is the perfect glyph chest. Cost 5,000 fleeting echoes. You will have that after doing that run. And now you can get some amazing powerful perks. And you want to look out for the Soulless Assault, as this can give you relic charges back on successful hits. I saved most of my rerolls for this chest, so I have a higher chance to get this Soulless Assault glyph, and so far it always worked out. It's namely really insane with the Hilt of Skofnung. I kinda went over this tactic in my previous video, but now I found an even better build around it, and you can use it with any weapon you pick at the start. So having the Hilt of Skofnung for this is important. You can get it from the relic chest after the first boss, and also from the relic chest in the Greece area. But after defeating the Berserker King, which you can also do on a lower difficulty if you want, then you will get it as a permanent unlock and can then select it at the shore before starting a run. I will leave a link to that previous video for if you haven't watched it yet, with a full explanation on how to fight the Berserker King in the video description. So with Soulless Assault, you can get charges back for the Hilt of Skofnung that normally only has 1 charge. So they can use these green swords that deal damage and basically stun lock enemies way more often. But it can get way crazier, because if you also find the Reckless Refresh as a silver perk, then getting hit while using a runic attack or relic will restore a portion of the cooldown or restore a relic charge use. And this happens surprisingly often. Combine that with the Fortune's Refresh, a gold glyph with, you can also get in a chest in the starting area of Greece, which gives you a moderate luck chance, increased with the luck stat, that when using a runic attack or relic, you immediately restore 70% of the cooldown, or immediately get a relic charge back. Combining these 3 perks with the Hilt of Skofnung is insane. It means that you can always have this relic basically active, which made the tier encounter way more manageable on the hardest difficulty. Now maybe you noticed that I'm mostly rocking the spear. Like, if you want a more in-depth build for different weapons, let me know in the comments down below. And of course, subscribe for way more God of War content. A like on the video would be awesome. You can also watch that Berserker King video with way more like rewards and other things by clicking on the screen. I will speak to you very soon. Goodbye.